Sometimes villains get to levels of power that are capable of breaking holes in the multiverse and reality itself. Today on Top 10 Nerd, we're gonna talk about some. I'm Adam Andrews, and this is the top 10 villains who can break reality. Number 10, Nezha. The Devil Nezha is a more recent villain, appearing in Batman Superman World's Finest number 2 in June of this year, 2022. Originally, he was a Chinese warlord, first appearing in the 16th century BC. He was killed and then resurrected with a potion by his father, who he then dispatched. Through magic, he ended up becoming a huge threat to the world, and then thanks to a group of ancient heroes, was locked away in a magically sealed prison until the modern era, when he managed to create his own spells to escape. He then began possessing villains and eventually heroes, using them to try and take over the world. He's extremely difficult for even a powerhouse team like Batman and Superman to take on. Superman even used a device to send him to the Phantom Zone, and this guy said nope, and broke back into the Earth's dimension. Superman had to take Nezha into his tomb, locking it from the inside, and then use that same device to send himself to the Phantom Zone, closing the portal and reappearing outside the tomb, using the tear in the world and the Phantom Zone's reality that Nezha created to get back to the other heroes. I really hope that wasn't too confusing. I think it was, but just read this story. Batman and Superman fused together into a singular hero. It's super cool and super worth it. Number 9, Ultron. Ultron is an interesting addition to this list, and one I'm not sure how people will feel about. Destroying reality is a big task to undertake, and while Ultron's goal isn't really complete destruction of reality, the sheer unrelenting nature of the villain leads us to believe that it is entirely possible. And we have seen him grow to be powerful enough to do it. I'm kind of specifically talking about the Ultron we see in the Disney Plus What If series. This version of Ultron was successful in loading himself into the body of Vision that he created. Thanks to this, he was successful in launching the world's nuclear arsenal and wiping out most of the life on Earth. But this is where I start to believe he could wipe out reality, because now that he has successfully done what he had to do, Thanos shows up and is like, "What up? Give me that Mind Stone." And Ultron is like, and he just splits Thanos in half and takes the rest of the Infinity Gems, gaining access to an omniscience that drives him, eventually, to destroy all life in his universe and then spread into the multiverse, battling Uatu the Watcher through the Nexus of Reality. If you haven't watched this series, just please do it. Number 8, Mr. Mxyzptlk. Although the 5th dimensional imp known as Mr. Mxyzptlk has reality warping powers that could bring the end of all things, he usually only uses his powers to annoy and have fun with his favorite superhero ever, Superman. He's more of a harmless nuisance than a real supervillain, but we have proof that if he had just one bad day, he could likely bring ruin to the whole DC multiverse. In the famous Emperor Joker story, we get to see what exactly would happen if the Clown Prince of Crime himself got his hands on the reality warping powers of this imp. He tricks the little guy into granting the Joker 99.99% of his power, and with it, Joker turns the whole universe into his playground. It's a wild ride that does actually end in Joker pretty much destroying reality. Luckily, Mr. Mxyzptlk, with the help of Superman, does find a way to return his power and fix everything. But just knowing what he can do to our reality is enough to send shivers down your spine. Number 7, the One Below All. The One Below All is a relatively recent addition to the comics, but the idea of the entity isn't, as we have known about the One Above All for a while, and his mere existence begs the question of who inhabits the opposite side of the spectrum. Thanks to the Immortal Hulk, we now know, and it is utterly terrifying. He resides in the Below Place, and his power has been manifesting itself for decades in the form of gamma mutates like the Hulk. In the story, we do get a brief glimpse of what could actually happen if the embodiment of destruction and nothingness were to be set loose on the multiverse. Basically, the One Below All completely takes over the body of the Immortal Hulk, and using this body, he brings an end to the current version of the multiverse, destroying literally everything and everyone over billions of years, including the very essence of life and the multiverse itself. So that when the multiverse is rebirthed into its new version, it is the last time it can truly even happen, with the Hulk / One Below All / Breaker of Worlds consuming everything to grow to a massive planetary scale, wiping out all of existence. But thanks to some time / reality traveling bugs, this does not come to pass. But it could, and that's all you need to know. Number 6, the Anti-Monitor. Billions of years ago, with the creation of the multiverse, when a scientist named Krona, a guardian of the universe on the Green Lantern world of Oa, tried to use a device that would allow him to witness creation itself. A massive explosion occurred which altered the creation of the universe itself, giving birth to the multiverse. Among the countless alternate realities created in this incident was the antimatter universe, the birthplace of the Anti-Monitor, the embodiment of evil, who seeks to conquer all of existence, and his brother the Monitor, who embodies goodness and watches over life. Now, the Anti-Monitor is a being of extraordinary power who feeds on the energies of destroyed universes. These energies further increase his power, allowing him to manipulate reality and even travel through time. He can also unleash his energy as bolts or shockwaves to attack his opponents. He, or it, or however you want to refer to this monster, also has an army of shadow demons from the antimatter universe at his command. However, the extent of the Anti-Monitor's power is dependent on his energy levels, which can be drained in order to weaken him. Still, only another cosmic being like the Monitor or the Spectre is capable of opposing the Anti-Monitor at full power, and even they need help from some of DC's top heroes to put him down for good. Number 5. The Gentry. Have you read Multiversity? It's probably the most confusing way to explain a multiverse ever, but whatever. The main big bads from that book would be the Gentry. They are a group of powerful beings led by the Empty Hand, a mind-bogglingly powerful entity who feeds on dead multiverses and is the right hand of the Great Darkness, who himself is the antithesis to the Presence, who is basically DC's god. They hail from a place outside of the multiverse, said to be the opposite of everything natural, and they are basically all the villainous archetypes taken to their extremes. Intellicatron is the mastermind, Dame Merciless is the femme fatale, Demogorgon is the zombie horde, Lord Broken is the madhouse, and Hell Machine is like the brute. And they are all absolutely mind-bendingly bonkers. They wield a power called the anti-death equation, which is a power that twists and disfigures the fabrics of reality. It's been used to revive deceased individuals and corrode living ones in a process called gentrification. I just really hope that I got that explanation right, because it was kind of difficult to understand. Number 4, the Beyonders. Okay, for starters, these guys are a race of beings from outside the multiverse, just like the last one. How that works, I do not know, but what I do know is that these beings are basically like scientists, conducting experiments on a multiversal scale. They created the singularity of Molecule Man in all universes specifically to destroy said universes. They have been shown to defeat the Celestials, Eternity, Infinity, Lord Chaos, Master Order, the In-Betweener, and even the Living Tribunal throughout all realities at once. And those cosmic entities are some of the most powerful in their respective universes. The existence and the struggle to defeat them literally resulted in the destruction of multiple universes and eventually the multiverse itself, as Dr. Doom, using multiple Molecule Men, defeated the Beyonders and created the mashed up reality of Battleworld. Number 3, Dr. Doom. Speaking of Dr. Doom, he literally found a way to defeat the Beyonders, so I think adding him to this list just kinda makes sense. While he himself is sorta just a dude, it's what he does with his technology, magic, and massive evil brain that make him completely capable of destroying reality. We already talked about how he managed to create Battleworld, but in that world he became the supreme god king, able to do seriously impressive feats like ripping out Thanos' spine and turning him to dust, or creating a police force of multiple Thors, or recreating and improving magical artifacts like the Eye of Agamotto or Mjolnir. That was just one aspect of him though. But if we want an idea of just how unrelenting Doom can be, let's talk about the Marquis of Death. The Marquis was a supremely powerful villain who actually took Doom as his apprentice, and then left the Earth and took on a new apprentice. When he returned to Earth, the Marquis was disappointed by Doom's many failings at the hands of the Fantastic Four, and so he turned Doom's heart to stone, his blood to acid, and then, with his apprentice, sent Doom back millions of years in time where he was eaten by a megalodon. Now it turns out that Doom survived all of that, then spent millions of years studying black magic and the dark arts, changing every molecule of his own body and becoming that same apprentice that just helped the Marquis of Death. He then revealed himself, told the Marquis to shut the hell up, and took him off the playing field in a swift move. Number 2, the Darkest Knight. Okay, so by this point, most of you nerds out there know who the Batman Who Laughs is. A Batman who has been infected by the Joker toxin and gathered other Dark Universe versions of Batman, using them to become a scourge on the multiverse. He has plans on top of plans, with backup plans for those plans, and further backup plans for his backup plans. When the Batman Who Laughs fought against the Justice League, he was beheaded by none other than Wonder Woman using a chainsaw, which is an awesome sentence to say out loud. But this guy kind of foresaw this. So he found a reality where Bruce Wayne discovered the comedian's button from the Watchmen series and created an intrinsic field generator. The evil Batman then locked this Batman in that machine and basically turned this Bruce Wayne into Dr. Manhattan. He then lobotomized this Bruce Wayne and then kept him locked far away, hidden from everyone except his knights. So now that he was beheaded, his knights took his brain and transplanted it inside the Manhattan Bruce Wayne, meaning that the Batman Who Laughs got the powers of Dr. Manhattan, who is basically a multiversal level god. He became the Darkest Knight, killing Perpetua and fighting a golden armored god Wonder Woman across time and space. It's mind-boggling. And in at number 1 is Molecule Man. His name is Molecule Man. Can you guess what he can do? Owen Reese, Molecule Man, possesses the ability to mentally control, transform, and manipulate the molecules of all matter and energy, seemingly on minor and massive scales. He can bring inanimate objects to life, like making a brick wall walk, but then he has also been able to effortlessly recreate an entire galaxy in his base regular form. He has dropped an entire mountain on the Avengers, and even Galactus fears this guy as he knows that he could destroy the Devourer of Worlds with a simple thought. He can transmute matter to whatever he wants, turning air into glass, which kind of beats Doctor Strange's water into wine thing in Multiverse of Madness. He can become pure energy if he wants to, and he can create literal wormholes in space, essentially making him move faster than light. He has defeated his own creators, the Beyonders, who literally created him as a singular entity, but the same across all universes, to act as a reality-destroying bomb, essentially. It is debatable, but I believe he may be the most powerful character in the Marvel multiverse. Alrighty, and with all that craziness done and out of the way, you now know 10 of the most insanely powerful ne'er-do-wells that could totally rip through your understanding of time, space, and reality. Are there any villains you wish made this list? Pop your suggestions in the comments and maybe you'll get a part 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe here at Top 10 Nerd. I've been your host, Adam Andrews, and until next time, thanks for watching and peace out, my dear nerds.